Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the Real Talk Show. Thank you so much for making time this evening. I'm your host, Abdulhakeem Kigen, and today we'll be talking about the status of I.R.E. in Kenya. Now, to help me discuss this is the Executive Director of the Muslim Education Council, Mr. Munawar Khan, and also Huda Khamis, who is also an I.R.E. teacher. Assalamu alaikum. Now, times without number, we've had concerns about the shortage of I.R.E. teachers, which has been a big problem to the extent that schools in Kenya have closed down I.R.E. programs, which has been detrimental to students who are studying I.R.E. Now, to help me discuss this issue today are these two amazing guests, and let's dive right in. So, Mr. Khan, you are the Muslim Executive Council Executive Director, and you have interacted with the TSC. You also understand the whole sector and education ecosystem in Kenya. Now, please, could you paint for us a picture of the state of I.R.E. teachers in Kenya, the shortage that is there? Explain to us where the shortage is. Is it just a one region shortage? Kindly paint this picture for our viewers.
Thank you very much. Once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I'm happy to note that you have chosen a very good topic for discussion this evening. As you are fully aware, religious education is compulsory in all our primary schools, and it is an examination subject. Muslims are offered subject as I.R.E. to learn Islamic religious education in schools. Christians are supposed to learn C.R.E., that is Christian religious education. Hindus have the opportunity to learn H.R.E., Hindu religious education. Now, we are concerned about the teaching of I.R.E. in our schools, and especially in public schools, because most of the children from our community go to public schools all over the country, in all counties. Now, the permanent issue, shortage of I.R.E. teachers, is very well known to us. From the beginning, when I.R.E. or religious education was introduced in schools, way back in 1978, 77, 78, there has been shortage of I.R.E. teachers in the country. There has been shortage of textbooks and even support material for I.R.E. But our Muslim organizations, our educationists have tried to come up with solution to this problem. Acute shortage of I.R.E. attracted our organizations to support and fill the gap by employing part-time teachers who were madrasa teachers, who had some knowledge of Islamic religion, to go and teach in different schools. But later on, TSC came up with a condition that anybody teaching in this country must be registered with TSC, and those who are teaching I.R.E. also must be trained teachers. And because of that condition, we are facing acute shortage of I.R.E. teachers in the country. The an important reason is most of our Muslim children or youth do not want to go for education career. They do not want to go for training as I.R.E. teachers. There are several reasons behind that also. Some of them don't take I.R.E. as a subject at their KCSE level. And the condition for admission to teacher training colleges for I.R.E. training is that one must have done I.R.E. at secondary school level, and they must have obtained C+ grade in the subject they want to be trained in. Sometimes we get the applicants who are willing to join teacher training colleges, especially Kibabi and Kagumo teacher training colleges, where I.R.E. and Arabic is offered as a subject. Our children or the candidates don't have C+ in I.R.E. If they have C+ in I.R.E., they don't have required qualification in English, which is C plain, and D+ in mathematics. We have several cases where a candidate has got B- as a mean grade, but in mathematics it is below D+, and they don't qualify to be admitted into teacher training colleges. That also stop them from going to teacher training colleges, and that causes the shortage of I.R.E. teachers.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khan. And that's a very important point to our viewers, both parents and students, that if you want to become an I.R.E. teacher, it's a requirement for you to have studied I.R.E. in high school and done it in your KCSE education exam. Allow me now to bring Huda. And Huda, you've been a teacher now for 5 years, an I.R.E. teacher, and you have now worked with TSC for 4 years. Now, kindly explain to us what your experience was when you were joining TSC, because we've had a lot of issues in terms of the shortages and TSC onboarding I.R.E. teachers.
Okay, shukran for engaging us in this talk. I will just echo what Brother Munawar Khan has just put forward. I've been in service for 4 years, alhamdulillah, and I've realized that the shortage, as Munawar has put it, is basically due to our own misdoings. You just expect that you're going to get the placement as a teacher, yet when you look at your grades, they are not as par as what the commission wants. Because we have bodies that govern entries into colleges and universities, and the Muslim students are not an exemption. We are not different from the rest. We are equally the same. So we cannot say that to let this person go and pursue religious education because it's just a dean. There are other criteria that are looked at, the mathematics, the English. So if we fail at that point, then it means that we cannot be able to pursue religious education, causing the shortage. So it's high time that people look at I.R.E. as a subject that is examinable, but there are also other areas that need to be polished up so that you can get entry into a good college, a college that is going to be accepted by the Teachers Service Commission, and also a university that is going to be accepted by the Teachers Service Commission.
Thank you so much. And today we are discussing the status of I.R.E. teachers. And let's put an emphasis on teachers today. Now, when there is a shortage of teachers in a school, the teachers end up taking extra classes and end up doing more hours, which also affects them. Now, Munira, kindly paint the picture for us and explain it to us what it means for a teacher when there is a shortage of teachers in that school or in that particular, or for that particular subject.
Basically, when there is a shortage, you realize that if the school has a big population of Muslims, then the backload of the work becomes so much. But if the case is maybe we have a few Muslims, then the motivation for even the learners to even take up that subject goes down. So basically, you realize that in most cases, it's on rare occasions, we'll find that we have a big number of Muslims, except when it's areas that are highly populated with the Muslims. And then, you know, the posting, because there's a shortage, the posting will be according to the supply that we get from the colleges and the universities. So if you have fewer learners at the colleges and the universities, then the demand also is also less. We have less teachers, and then maybe the students are also less. Or if we have a big number of students, the number of teachers cannot match up to the number of students that are in existence.
Thank you so much. And now I would like to go back to Mr. Khan. And at the Muslim Education Council, you have raised concerns to TSC over the shortage of teachers, of I.R.E. teachers. And so I would like you to share with our viewers, what is the response of TSC? What measures have they put in? How have they accepted, you know, your many appeals about the shortage of I.R.E. teachers?
You know, before I answer that one, the very formation of Muslim Education Council was inspired by the shortage of I.R.E. teachers in this country. Since its introduction, as I said, in 77, 78, Young Muslim Association and I.R.E. panel used to work together to address this shortage of I.R.E. teachers. But there was no condition, or it was not implemented by TSC, that one must have a license or register with TSC. So those days we used to send madrasa teachers or any Muslim who was a graduate or even Form 4 leavers who had knowledge of religious education to be allowed go to school and teach I.R.E. to Muslim children. But since they started implementing this requirement strictly, if you are not trained teacher, you cannot be registered with TSC. If you are not trained in the subject, you cannot teach that subject. So as Muslim Education Council, we addressed this issue. On the 2nd of March, we went to TSC as a delegation with a memorandum, which is here. I was accompanied by Professor Abdulhakeem from Jamia Mosque, Dr. Ahmad Yusuf, former Secretary of Kenya National Exams Council, and Sister Fatuma Saman, and veteran educationist and former principal of Nairobi Muslim Academy. And we presented a memorandum on concern and issues of Muslims, especially teaching of I.R.E. and shortage of teachers in schools. It was presented in Naivasha, where TSC commissioners, all of them, including the TSC chairman, that time Brother Twahir Barak, CEO Nancy Macharia, and all the senior officers were present. We were given an opportunity for almost an hour to discuss this memorandum. They were very positive, and we are supposed to have follow-up with them, but because of the restructuring of TSC management and the commissioners, we have not got that opportunity to meet them again and continue the discussion. But hopefully, by the end of this month, we will have another meeting with the CEO and the concerned people in TSC to review and follow up the concern. What we are saying is that the requirement for a teacher to teach I.R.E. and be registered with TSC, one must have done KCSE or Form 4 examination. We are disputing that, and we are asking the government and the TSC to remove this condition. There are people who do IGCSE curriculum, and they have no chance to do I.R.E. or KCSE examination. But they have been to the colleges and universities where they are trained as I.R.E. teachers. For example, some of them go to Sudan, Islamic University of Africa. Some of them go to Uganda, Bale University. Some of them go to other countries like Turkey, Malaysia, and come up with educational training degrees or diplomas. Unfortunately, TSC does not recognize them because they did not sit for KCSE examination. So we are asking the TSC to exempt this I.R.E. teacher from these requirements, or any teacher for that purpose. A teacher is a teacher wherever he is trained. He is qualified. He has knowledge. Why should we have condition of KCSE? I would give my own example. I am a registered teacher. I have got TSC number for the last 40 years, and I never did any exam in Kenya, but I am holding master's degree in education. Those days, 78, 80s, 81, I was allowed to teach even I.R.E. So we are asking TSC to review this and allow our qualified teachers, wherever they are qualified from, provided they have certain qualifications and knowledge of I.R.E. to teach our children, so they are not forced to learn CRE. They are not deprived of this offer by the government to learn I.R.E. So this is our appeal to them, and inshallah we will follow it up and make sure that we succeed in that one, inshallah. There is acute shortage because our own Muslim schools or schools run by Muslim community or individuals don't have I.R.E. teachers. Recently, since we opened the schools, there are many appeals from many schools looking for I.R.E. teachers, public school as well as private schools. We appeal to our children from Liver to join I.R.E. teacher training, especially in Kagumo and Kibabi teacher training colleges. There are some opportunities of getting sponsorship. For example, Jamia Mosque Committee is offering 15 scholarships every year to those who take I.R.E. as a subject in Kagumo and Kibabi teacher training colleges. Unfortunately, there has been never a year where we have filled in 15 slots. The government has done a very big favor to us by keeping our places or our slots for I.R.E. teacher trainees throughout the year. As I am talking now, Kagumo teacher training in Kibabi have closed the admission to diploma course, but for I.R.E. and Arabic candidates, they are open. You come with C+ results and eligible candidate, I will get the admission by next week. So we would not say that we are not given the opportunity to be trained and be employed by TSC. It is upon us to be ready, qualify ourselves, be eligible, and benefit from these opportunities.
Very, very valuable insights there from Mr. Khan. As he has mentioned that Jamia Mosque offers scholarships, 15 slots, and it has never been fully maximized, meaning that there has never been a time where all the 15 has been taken up. So people aren't really taking up these scholarships, even though they are being advertised. There are calls for people to come and apply. So if you want to be a teacher, an I.R.E. teacher, please, you can join, contact Jamia Mosque and the Muslim Education Council for more information on that. Now, Huda, you have gone through the process of training and now you are an I.R.E. teacher. And from what I get from this conversation is that the real problem is where Muslims don't want to take up the I.R.E. courses then to become I.R.E. teachers. And for you, as someone who's gone through that process, what do you think is the reason why many people don't want to take up I.R.E.? And also, to add on to that, is it just an I.R.E. issue, or is it also an issue of the generation of today wanting to become teachers as a whole?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. You realize that the influence usually comes from the society around us. Most of our learners, you'll realize they want to do the science-oriented courses. Get to a class, ask them, how many people want to become medical doctors? You'll realize like the whole class raises up their hand. And alhamdulillah, it's a noble cause. It's something so nice because it's something that touches humanity. You ask them how many people want to pursue engineering courses. The whole class will also raise up their hand. So basically, it's like the society is molding students to be science-oriented, that we also forget that we have the arts, which I.R.E. falls in. It's a matter of, some of them think that it is prestigious to have a big course, to do a big course that people are going to look at you and say, wow, mashallah, this person is a doctor, this person is an engineer. forgetting that we also have the arts courses. I think basically the generation needs to be talked to so that we can have a balance in everything. We have a balance in both the arts and the science subjects. So the matter of prestige and then later on we are going to cry and say our children have lost direction. We do not have people to cater for their needs. We do not have mentors to take care of them. We do not have people who are going to talk to them in the way of Islam. So basically it's a matter of that. And then the learners themselves also have this perception that I.R.E. is a little bit difficult, or some of them tell us that I've already learnt in madrasa, so I don't need to go forward because it's not going to assist me. It's just a booster subject to me. So if people are still interested in ensuring that the generation gets to get the deen is passed in madrasa, and then more hours are spent in school as compared to madrasa, because a student arrives in school at 8, leaves at around 4:30. So the hours that this person has in contact with the teachers at school is more than the madrasa. So if they just get that that knowledge that even in school, when you study I.R.E, it's also beneficial, and then you're going to top up with what is taught in madrasa, then I think the situation might change.
Thank you so much, Huda. Very, very important insights. And I think it's our responsibility as Muslims to take up I.R.E and become I.R.E teachers, because at the end of the day, as we have children, who will teach our children I.R.E? So we have to take it as our own responsibility that this is something that we have to do in order to help others, not just as a way of earning income, but because teaching Islam is also ibadah. Now, we would love to take a short break. I know Huda has mentioned a bit about madrasa, and we'll be getting into the conversation about the Kenya Primary Madrasa Council, which Mr. Khan at the Muslim Education Council has been doing a lot of work with, and there are updates that he will give us after the break. Stay with us. We continue the conversation at Horizon TV Kenya on Facebook and on Twitter. Assalamu alaikum.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Quote of the day. Uthman bin Affan radiallahu anhu said, "Do not quarrel and do not create differences among yourselves. Hold fast to the rope of Allah and maintain unity in your ranks."
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the Real Talk Show. Thank you so much for staying with us. And today we are discussing about the state of I.R.E teachers in Kenya. I'm your host, Abdulhakeem Kigen. Now, since Kenya's independence, or even before the independence, development in Kenya has been concentrated along the railway line that runs from Mombasa to Kisumu. You find that even the major towns in Kenya, like Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, Eldoret, Kisumu, are all along the railway. Now, in the previous past, it was that if you weren't living along the railway line, then you were marginalized in terms of resources, in terms of educational resources, in terms of agricultural resources, in terms of infrastructure and the likes. Now, today I have with me Mr. Khan, who is the Executive Director of the Muslim Education Council. Now, please explain to our viewers, is I.R.E education and the shortage of teachers, does it follow this trend of the railway in Kenya?
Very interesting. It has nothing to do with railway line or that lane. Education is provided by the government all over the country, even in the remote areas. And Muslims are all over the Kenya, in every county, interior, in the main cities which we have mentioned. And all schools have facility to teach required subjects for the Kenya National Examination Council. So the shortage of I.R.E teachers is not only on those particular areas. All over the country, we have that shortage, especially in public schools. And recently now in some of the private schools, like some of them even in northeastern province, we don't have qualified I.R.E teachers who can be registered by TSC and be employed.
And by qualified, Mr. Khan, what do you mean?
They must be trained teachers. The condition for registration is to be qualified in the sense they must have teacher training certificate, diploma or degree course from recognized institution. Now here also sometimes we are getting trained teachers from foreign countries like Sudan, Uganda and other countries. And as I said earlier, because they have not done their KCSE here, they are not registered by TSC and are not employed by TSC. And even in private school, when they are employed, TSC refused to register. As I said, we have raised objection and we are very strongly recommending that this condition should be lifted. We are working with Kenya Qualification Authority, actually Kenya National Qualification Authorities, to involve Muslim Education Council in vetting these qualified people from other places, from other countries, and we make recommendation to be given equivalent certificates, a certificate of equivalence. So if somebody has done through Arabic medium his degree course or certificates or diploma course, we work with the Kenya National Qualification Authority and give him equivalent certificates so he can go and teach in required schools as I.R.E. teacher, Arabic teachers. It's not must that I.R.E. or Arabic teacher must be fully conversant in English. English is a language. What is important is the knowledge. If that teacher is able to impart knowledge, for example, Arabic teacher, I don't see any reason why TSC should refuse to register him. But we are discussing with them, and inshallah, as I said, we will be able to achieve something. Kenya Qualification Authority CEO has been very cooperative. In fact, he has gone a step ahead and is willing to partner with Muslim Education Council to address this issue. I want to add something more. As I said, the sponsorship is available for our children. I would like parents to note it and encourage our children. It is not only Jamia Mosque Committee who is giving 15%, 90% of the scholarship is given by Jamia Mosque Committee. As Muslim Education Council, we are willing to add that 10% also on top of the transport and out-of-pocket money also, to encourage for them to join teacher training programs. I would give a very small example. There was a very good student, a girl from Coast Province, who got a B plane and got admission in Kagumo Teacher Training College for I.R.E. training. The father was unable to pay even transport. By chance, it came to our attention and somebody recommended, and I called the father, and we provided all the facilities, including transport for the girl and the father, to come to Nairobi to our offices and then send them to Kagumo. She was well received in Kagumo Teacher College by our patron of Arabic, spent a night there, admitted, and she was very happy. In the evening, I got the message, I am very happy that you have sponsored me. You have given me pocket money and transport, and even my father, and I will complete the curriculum.
MashaAllah. Now,
to my surprise, very interesting,
yeah,
following day, she was not in the college. She decided to go back to home and leave this course.
why do you think that happened?
I was contacted by the college that the girl has decided to leave the college and not to continue studying. She did not stay even 24 hours. When I contacted the father and the girl, I was told that she is not interested in becoming a teacher. Maybe this is an isolated case, but I would like to appeal to the parents and our children to take teaching career, and especially teaching of I.R.E. and Arabic, because we will need more teachers, not only for I.R.E., we will need for Arabic language also. Because with the CBC curriculum, Arabic is offered by KICD and the government as a foreign language, together with German, French, Chinese language. From grade 4 in CBC system, Arabic can be taught and can be learned by our children. So we will need very many teachers all over the country to teach Arabic language to our children. We should take advantage of this opportunity given by the government. We are grateful to the Education Department and the Ministry and the Kenya government for giving us this opportunity to offer Arabic language. I would urge our Muslim-based schools to make Arabic language compulsory for our students. At Park Road, we have Muslim Academy run by Islamia Madrasa Society, and it is our policy that all children in the school must learn Arabic language right from nursery section. And we are proud to say that some time back in our secondary school IGCSE class, O level, one of our students was among the top in the world. He came number 3 in Arabic language.
MashaAllah. Now, Mr. Khan, just for the sake of our viewers, you had mentioned earlier that for the foreign students, for the foreign trained I.R.E. teachers, TSE requires a KCSE requirement for them. Now, excuse me, you are proposing that the Muslim Education Council creates a bridge program that they may be able to be onboarded by TSE. Is that correct?
Yes.
And does the Muslim Education Council has that capacity to do that?
Directly I would say no, because we are a council who is coordinating all the activities of the Muslim organization.
Okay, let me just hold it there. We have a call on the line. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jina lako ni nani na unatupigia kutoka wapi?
Jina langu naitwa Hassan na toka Kakamega.
Karibu Hassan. Uko na swali?
Niko na swali. Kwanza nashukuru sana kwa sababu the topic of discussion ni njema na nzuri zaidi, especially to the Muslim community. My concern maybe nikitaja maneno ya Sheikh Munawar, I think the problem is not with the TSE. The problem is with the Muslim organizations and Muslim schools. Because we do not motivate our children, especially when we want them to take I.R.E. as a course, either in colleges or in universities. I'm saying this because utapata recently there was a post where an I.R.E. teacher was being paid 6,000. In fact, it was a range of 5,000 to 6,000. Something that we've never seen with CRE teachers or any other religious teacher. So I don't know, why is it that we are not valuing our I.R.E. teachers? Why is it that we are not motivating our children so that when someone wants to take I.R.E. as a course, he or she will feel that they are doing a course that adds value in their life? You don't expect someone to take I.R.E. as a course when, one, there is no motivation, especially when scholarship comes. Utapata watu wanachaguliwa, unapata maybe certain people are just picked. Watu wengi wanawachwa huku nyuma. Maybe those who are willing to take I.R.E. but they are not able to raise a fee for that particular cause. So I will call upon our Muslim organizations and those in power, especially our leaders, to motivate our children, at least to show that there is value if someone takes I.R.E. as a course. Kwa sababu saa hizi ukisema, my friend Kigen, that you want qualified I.R.E. teachers, they are there. There are very many. But utasikia shule nyingi za Waislamu zinasema ya kwamba tunataka walimu wa I.R.E. or there is shortage of I.R.E. teachers. There is no shortage of I.R.E. teachers. The problem is not teachers. The problem is that motivation. Our children are not seeing the value of them becoming I.R.E. teachers. Why just I.R.E.? Kuna pia C.R.E. Mbona hatuoni hizi shida zikiwa katika C.R.E.? So I'll call upon our leaders and religious teachers to motivate our children to do something so that when I want to maybe advise my kid or my brother or a sister, nitamwambia kwamba do I.R.E. because ukiwa mwalimu wa I.R.E. this is what you will get in return. Thank you.
Shukran Hassan. Now allow me to take this to Huda. Huda, you're a teacher, and Hassan has talked about motivating people and prospective teachers to become I.R.E. teachers. Now, in your own experience, what do you think should be done in order to motivate people to become I.R.E. teachers?
Okay, We are living in the 21st century, and the problems are also supposed to be solved in the 21st century way. His concern is quite right. I think there is need for us to also look at the I.R.E. teacher as the same way we look at the other teachers that offer the other different subjects. So his concern is quite okay. It's legit, and there's need for us to step up our game when it comes to that.
Yes, please, Mr. Khan.
To add to what she has said, and I agree with Brother Hassan, this may be one of the reasons because there is no motivation. And very few organizations are taking it as a concern. I really commend Jamia Mosque Committee. I'll give you one example. At Kagumo Teacher Training College, they always shortage of a patron or a lecturer for Arabic and I.R.E.
Yeah.
There was a vacancy for Arabic lecturer. They were not getting, and they approached us. I had to look for somebody from TSC who was employed as deputy headmaster in Isiolo County and requested him to join Kagumo Teacher Training College.
Yeah.
Which he agreed.
Yes, Mr. Khan, there's a caller who has a question for you on the line. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jina lako na unatupigia kutoka wapi?
Mimi ni Sheikh Adam na kupigia kutoka Kajiado.
Yes.
Yes.
Una swali ama comment?
My comment is about the shortage of I.R.E. teachers.
Okay. Yes, continue.
Okay, I would like to correct the misinformation.
Yes.
Because when the guests, with due respect, they say there are shortages of teachers.
Yes.
It is not correct. We have data of CAT registered qualified teachers, almost 200, which are not employed by the CAT.
Okay.
And this is a very big number. We have current data for that. So when these are TSC, I.R.E. registered teachers. Okay, so when we hear that people say we have shortages of I.R.E. teachers, it is very unfortunate.
Okay.
So we have the data, we have the teachers forums in different places. They are unemployed. They are either employed by the board of management or they are casually employed by private schools and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So what I will add at the end is that we would like to have the current data from the organization, which they are saying that there are shortages of I.R.E. teachers.
Okay, just for the sake of our viewers, you've said that you have the data that over 200 teachers who have studied I.R.E. Currently are looking for opportunities. You have the data, or you've gotten the data from which organization or institution? Kindly share with our viewers.
Okay, we have, number one, we have Kenya I.R.E. teachers.
Yes. So that is where that's the source of the data?
Networking.
Sorry?
We have I.R.E. teachers networking, 2 groups.
Okay.
And Kenya I.R.E. teachers.
Okay.
In this group, we share.
Okay, please continue.
In this group, we collect the data.
Yes. Hello?
Hello. And what I'm saying,
yes.
we have the data with the teacher, with the names, the combinations, and the GSC numbers, and they are which they graduated from their colleges.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for calling us. Mr. Khan,
So we will share our number so that we can.
Inshallah, we'll put you in touch with Mr. Khan from the Muslim Education Council. Now, Mr. Khan, you've heard the remarks of our caller. What would you like to say in as far as that is concerned?
MashaAllah, it's very good. I'm very, very happy to hear that we have data. I would appreciate and would like to share that data with us. So when we go to the TSC for the follow-up of our memoranda, we can present to them and ask them and take them to task. Why are they not employing? And why are they saying there is shortage of qualified teachers? So far, I have not seen any data in our office. Our offices are situated in Park Road, Muslim Education Council, at Muslim Academy. They can forward it to us. I would provide my email address, and we will be very happy to seek appointment with TSC as early as possible to submit that data and ensure that our teachers are considered for employment. It is our right and our duty to make sure that our qualified teachers don't suffer.
Okay, so do you have contacts? You probably could share with our viewers contacts for the Muslim Education Council. You've shared your address. You are at Muslim Academy on
If you
Park
can
Road.
put on the screen,
Yes.
our email address is
Yeah.
mecsecretariat@yahoo.com.
Yeah, you can be able to get in touch with them. It would be amazing to have the I.R.E. teachers networking that our caller is representing, to be able to get in touch with the Muslim Education Council so that they can be able to continue with that conversation.
If I continue where I stop,
Yes, please.
This problem of I.R.E. teachers may not be real as they say, Brother Hassan and Dr. Adam. I think they are fully aware of Muslim Education Council. They have my contact also. On phone they can talk to me, and then I give them address, or anybody for that purpose. So we follow up and make sure that we get fair share of our employment with TSC. When I was talking about initiative Jamia Mosque Committee is giving it, and the Arabic lecturer at Kagumo, we are not getting. He was deputy headmaster in Isiolo, one of the schools. We convinced him, he went there, but on condition that I will not be able to sustain myself with the salary I will be getting there. I comment again and say the Jamia Mosque Committee came up with an allowance of certain amount to be given to him on monthly basis. For last 3 years, he has been getting. But before that also, I.R.E. pattern was paid extra motivational allowance to retain him at Kagumo Teacher Training College. As we are talking now, Kagumo Teacher College does not have I.R.E. pattern. I would appeal to those who are interested and are TSC registered to apply to Kagumo Teacher Training College for the post of lecturer or patron of I.R.E.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Now, my question is to Huda. Now, with the shortage that is there of I.R.E. teachers in schools, to supplement that, there are teachers who are employed by the Board of Management, popularly known as BOM teachers. Now, do you think that the BOM teachers, do they fill the gap that is there?
The BOM teachers are actually also registered teachers, because it's a requirement nowadays to have anybody teaching in any school, be it private or public, be registered. So they're also up to task. It's just that they are yet to get the employment from the government. So they just do equally the job that any other teacher can do. Any registered teacher with a Teachers Service Commission usually does.
MashaAllah. Now, there is a question here from Dr. Khamis. He says, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for the I.R.E. program. Kindly ask the guests, do they have a clue how many number that is of I.R.E. registered teachers who are currently unemployed. Mr. Khan, who's the Executive Director of Muslim Education Council, do you have those figures to help our viewer?
Not right now, unless we get from TSC.
Okay, I think it would be great to get that information so that we are able to understand, you know, how many people do we have who are unemployed, and these gaps that we have, they can be able to fill that. Also, another question here from Teacher Rogab. Hello, I didn't do I.R.E. in high school, but I want to pursue I.R.E. as a teaching subject. Is it possible?
No. The requirement for teacher training college is, if you want to take any subject for the training, must have been done at school level and must have achieved certain grade to qualify or to be eligible for admission for the training of that subject. So if you have not done I.R.E., in my knowledge, there is no college which can give you admission for the training of that subject.
Okay, I thank you so much. I hope Teacher Rogab, who's our viewer, has heard that, and it will be very helpful. Another viewer on Facebook says that I.R.E. teachers are not well paid. Scholarships are not enough. A salary survey by the Muslim Education Council should be done and find ways of solving that. I have heard of salaries of Kenya shillings 5,000 per month, which is not enough. Mr. Khan, I'd like you to explain to our viewers, have you done a salary survey, or do you have any information on the sort of salary scale of I think also this is a matter that, you know, TSC, who is the employer, actually has that information. But what do you think in as far as the comments from our viewer?
I think when we are talking about these 5,000 or lower salaries, it must be in some of the private schools. TSC has its own scales, and as you know now, teachers are getting good salaries. The salary scales have been revised several times, and if they are trained, qualified teachers, they get salary like any other teachers, subject teachers. So I don't think that complaint implies to TSC, but some of our schools, it is very true, I have also come across several complaints that some of the schools, especially started by individuals, pay very low salary, 10,000, 7,000, 13,000, which is not encouraging. I agree with our viewers that teachers must be paid, not only I.R.E. teachers, but any teacher must be paid reasonable salaries. And if we don't motivate, we will not get the teachers. So that artificial shortage will always be there.
Yeah.
Not only there, in government school, I would take a minute and explain to you, Kagumo, as I said, the teacher left who was in charge of I.R.E. Arabic teacher is assisted by additional allowance by Jamia Mosque Committee. Now Arabic teacher, I.R.E. teacher left because she was not comfortable with the salary and the condition at Kagumo. She was expecting some kind of motivation. Some time back, I will talk about 20 years ago, in KICD, which was KIE, we had a patron for or curriculum developer for I.R.E. who came from the coast and was not willing to stay at KIE because the life was very expensive in Nairobi. As one of the organization, we came up with some allowance for him to retain him for at least 5 years. So as Brother Hassan said, we need to motivate our children, our teachers, to learn I.R.E., to teach I.R.E. and make proper use of these facilities available. We have to wake up, we have to join hands and cooperate, and inshallah we'll be able to make it.
Yes, and now towards the end of last year, the Kenya Primary Madrasa curriculum was approved by KICD, and the Muslim Education Council did a lot of work on that. Now, my question to you today is, how will the Kenya Primary Madrasa curriculum, you know, feed into I.R.E, and what are the prospects, in the long term of, will it in any way, shape or form, contribute to curbing the shortage, and will it even motivate students to become I.R.E teachers? Probably, Huda, you can go first, then Mr. Khan can.
Okay, I believe that madrasa is quite integral. My own experience is when I went to high school, I went to a Catholic school. So the issue of I.R.E was a little bit shaky. You'll realize it is that madrasa that even assisted me to identify that I could try and answer some questions in I.R.E. If I did not have the basics of the madrasa, then it means that maybe I will not be sitting in a school as an I.R.E teacher, because I will have looked at, the deen is so difficult for me, I was never taken to madrasa, and then now I'm in high school, I'm being compelled to do I.R.E, I look at it as a burden. So I think coming up with a curriculum is quite good, so that at least all the Muslim learners can get a glimpse of the system, can also get to interact with the system. We can also have a formal way of doing things, maybe remove a few flaws that were there, streamline the system so that we can have uniformity in how we do our teaching at the madrasa level. I think it's a good step.
I know time is not on our side, but just I'd like for Mr. Khan to just give us in a sentence or two what are the latest developments in as far as the Kenya primary madrasa curriculum is concerned.
Well, this is a very wide subject, and some time back I was here to discuss that one.
Yes.
Madrasa curriculum has been, Kenya madrasa curriculum for primary level has been approved by KICD. It will definitely enhance the learning of I.R.E, but Kenya madrasa curriculum in itself is a part of CBC curriculum. It is in alignment with the CBC course, and inshallah, once it is implemented, it will be examined by Kenya National Examination Council, and examination will be conducted in all madrasas, and equal certificate will be given to them. So it will be on its own a qualification to have learnt in madrasa.
Shukran.
And latest information on Kenya madrasa curriculum, we are still waiting for KICD to give us official document, which inshallah I was in touch with KICD director last week and expected a written document of approval during the course of this month. MEC has already planned to launch it at KICC, and we'll invite all stakeholders for it to be implemented, inshallah.
Shukran.
And we have started development of secondary level curriculum also. And I would urge those who are in that line to send their comments, suggestions, if they have any curriculum ready in their schools, madrasas for secondary level. We would like to learn from them and accommodate whatever is possible, so we can make it faster and have secondary curriculum also in alignment with CBC curriculum.
Thank you so much. We've come to the end of our show today, but even more importantly, I would like to remind us that education in Kenya is highly underfunded as a whole. Nancy Macharia, who is the head of TSC, appeared on April in the National Senate, and she mentioned that there is a teacher shortage of 104,000 in Kenya, with 57,000 in secondary schools and 46,000 in primary schools. Now, this is a huge shortage for the country, considering that the current Jubilee administration is currently running the 100% transmission from primary school to high school. Now, my appeal today is that education is key in this country. Education is what will make the sons and daughters of peasants to sit in the same table with the sons and daughters of kings. As we come to the end of our show today, this conversation has been very interesting. I hope you've learned a lot. Let's continue the conversation on Twitter and Facebook at Horizon TV Kenya. Thank you so much for making time for us this evening. Thank you so much, Mr. Khan and Huda. It's been a pleasure having you. And until next time, keep safe. Keep it Horizon TV. I have been your host, Abdulhakeem Kigen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair.
In case of any feedback, advice, or complaints regarding our programming, contact Horizon TV on 0798 974747 or our live call-in number 0754 707 707. Or email us at info@horizontv.co.ke.